Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. Welcome to the daily cricket show. Cricket happening, albeit a bit late, I would say. But nevertheless, as far as today's cricket happening show is concerned, it will be the second one day international between India and Australia, where India once again beat Australia by 50 runs on a two-paced pitch, I would say. Kohli played a brilliant innings of 92 on a very difficult wicket because the ball was gripping. The ball is not really coming out of the bat. It was not easy to bat on, and India has to be commended. They made 252 and they won the match by 50 runs. They defended it well, especially the bowlers did a fantastic job backed after that Kohli's knock of 92. Marcus Stoinis seemed to be a real threat with a very threatening innings, but his innings was nipped in the bud by Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, I suppose, or Bumrah. I can tell you that later, but that was the reason. Otherwise, Stoinis was really running out of partners. In fact, Stoinis was there. He remained not out. I'll be talking about that. But that will be seen as when I tell you the story of the second one day international where India took a 2-0 lead in the five-match ODI series. And as far as the second ODI between England and the West Indies were concerned, it was a very drab affair. It ended as a no result with rain pelting continuously there at the ground, and that essentially it was played at as you know, the match was played at Trent Bridge. I just need to look at which ground it is, but I can tell you one thing, that particular match got rained out and there was a no result. But yes, it was played at Trent Bridge in Nottinghamshire. And then we'll have a look at some brief cricket news. But let's first head off and talk more about the second ODI, Australia versus India. So India won the toss and they decided to actually bat first. Well, it all started off with Rohit Sharma. The first wicket. It was played at Eden Gardens, Kolkata, but one good thing was that the match went the full distance, and that was the good thing about it. As Ajinkya Rahane and Rohit Sharma walked in to take strike first. Ajinkya Rahane and Rohit Sharma, they were tested. Initially, we saw that Patrick Cummins and Nathan Coulter-Nile were really moving the ball. Patrick Cummins was really showing some great pace, and they were really troubling the batsmen, especially Ajinkya Rahane was really getting something that he probably very unlikely to see on Indian pitches. The previous match too, I said that it was actually looking like an Australian pitch with pace and bounce, and today also it started off in the same manner. When the ball was new, the ball was really darting about, and especially Ajinkya Rahane was given a testing time by Patrick Cummins with the ball really lifting, real bounce, real good carry there, and Rahane had to sway out of the bouncers, and it was really looking very, I would say a bit very. Normally one was not really ready to believe that the ball was really bouncing in such a manner on Indian pitches, but it was the case. But now let's look at the story. Rohit Sharma was the first to go, as Nathan Coulter-Nile actually had him cotton bowl for 7 of 14. That was 1-4. That was wicket number 1. And then from there, India recovered very well from 19 for 1. It was a wonderful partnership that happened, which repaired the early damage in a very quick manner, and it was done by Ajinkya Rahane and Virat Kohli. Ajinkya Rahane and Virat Kohli combined very well. Kohli was looking confident. What was about, as far as Kohli's play was concerned today, what he was doing is he was basically the Aussies bowlers were keeping a good line to Kohli, probably trying to bait him outside the off stump. But what Kohli did best today was shuffling. He kept on shuffling from the middle stump to the off stump, and he was trying to negate what Australia were trying to do to him, as he started playing them with absolute assurance, and he also started putting the ball into the gaps, trying to carve the ball into the offside, sometimes putting it onto the leg side. And Virat Kohli was a picture of confidence. He was stroking the ball in a very serene manner, and things were really beginning to look good. Ajinkya Rahane also did a fine job in contributing 55, 64 balls with 7 fours before becoming a victim of a run out. He was run out for 55, and that was wonderfully made. Manish Pandey once again failed to the bat as he was bowled by Ashton Agar for 3. As I said, once the spinners came, one definitely knew that this pitch was a really two-pace pitch. The ball was not really, it was not easy to bat on this pitch. As I said, the ball was gripping and the ball sometimes, so definitely it was very two-pace, so it was not easy to really bat on this. Kedar Jadhav contributed 24 of as many balls, 2 fours and 1 6, but Virat Kohli was the sole presence at the crease. As he could not, nobody could really give him company. Once Kedar Jadhav was gone, the last wicket to go, the next wicket to go was the Indian captain Virat Kohli, but not before playing a fine innings of 92, of 107 deliveries, 8 fours in that knock, and he was clean bowled by Kuldip as he could not get to his century. He was out for 92. Jadhav contributed 24 as many, 2 fours, 1 6, and then Kane Richardson came in. And Kane Richardson came in and really did it to the Indians, I would say, because he went on to disturb the lower middle order in a wonderful manner and took some big wickets, I would say. Mahendra Singh Dhoni was caught by Smith with the bowling of Richardson for 5 with 1 4, and Hardik Pandya, after making 20 with 2 boundaries, was also a victim. Caught Warner bowled Richardson for 20, and Bhuvaneshwar Kumar contributed 20, and he was also a victim of Richardson of 33 deliveries, 1 4. Kuldip Yadav, who later on, even though he made a duck, he was caught behind with the bowling of Cummins for duck, and Yuzvendra Chahal was run out for 1. Bumrah was not on 10 of 6 balls, in which he had 2 boundaries, and India finished on a 252 all out. The Indians were bowled out for 252. As far as the bowling was concerned, Cummins 10 overs, 1 made him run for 34, bowled superbly, I thought. Nathan Coulter-Nile, once again amongst the wickets, 10 overs, no made him 51 runs and 3 wickets. But Kane Richardson was also amongst the wickets today. It was good to see 10 overs for 55 runs and 3 wickets, did a fine job, especially he took some big wickets of Dhoni and Pandya. And then Stoinis bowled 9 overs for 46, Ashton Agar 9 overs, 1 for 54, and Travis Head bowled 2 overs for 11 runs. Well, as far as Australia were concerned, they were given a target of 253 runs to actually win from the 50 overs, and let's see what really happened. So one was probably thinking that Travis Head and David Warner will be opening the innings, and once again Australia went for the same combination which failed them in the first ODI, but once again it was good bowling from the Indians as well. What Australian bowlers did, the Indian bowlers did it nicety, especially Bhuvaneshwar Kumar was not giving anything on the scoring area, and as I said, the pitch was too paced, it was slow, so Bhuvaneshwar Kumar is not a man who bowls express pace, so he definitely made life difficult, especially he tested both the batsmen, Hilton Cartwright and David Warner, and Hilton Cartwright was really giving a testing time. One is at one end it was Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, at the other end was Jasprit Bumrah, and both were really giving a very tough time to the Aussie openers, David Warner and Cartwright. But after that, Cartwright was tested by Kumar. One was a beautiful in-swinger that he bowled, and then he got one going away, and it suddenly zipped out, and it broke through the defense of Cartwright, and his off stump was gone. He was hit on the offside. So basically, Cartwright was clean bowled by Kumar for 1, and David Warner was really giving a very testing time by Kumar. He really troubled him a great deal, and then he picked up his wicket as Warner was caught by Rahane on the bowling of Kumar for 1 to leave this Australian innings in really bad shape at 9 for 2 in the 5th over. So once again, the Australians had to repair, and the repair act came in the form of Stephen Smith, the captain, and Travis Head. And let me tell you, Stephen Smith was hitting everything from the sweet part of the bat, and it was things were really looking ominous for India at that stage when Smith was really getting into his groove. Travis Head was also not far behind, was doing a fine job, playing some good strokes, and both of them were combining into a very good partnership as Australia recovered from the early blows from 9 for 2 in the 5th over and the score was pushed on to 85. And that was the time Chahal, the spinners went to action. And once the spinners came, the problems started for the Aussies. First, it was the openers being scalped by the Indian seamers, and now it was the turn of the spinners. And Chahal started it all when he picked up the wicket of Travis Head for 39 of as many balls with 5 fours. That was wicket number 3. And Hardik Pandya took the big wicket of Stephen Smith, bowling a cross-seam bouncer at Stephen Smith, forcing him to play a shot, and a brilliant catch taken by the substitute Ravindra Jadeja, but not before Stephen Smith contributed 59 of 76 deliveries, 8 fours. So the score when Travis Head fell, the score was the 17th over, and now and after that, Glenn Maxwell entered the scene to join Stephen Smith. And before Stephen Smith's wicket fell, there was some entertainment. Once again, Maxwell hit clubbed 2 sixes. He went after Kuldip Yadav and struck him for 2 sixes. But Chahal came in, and Chahal got his wicket by forcing Maxwell to have but a brilliant stumping by Dhoni. Dhoni was pretty quick behind the stumps to take off the bails, and Maxwell was sadly walking back to the pavilion after making 14 of 18 deliveries, 2 fours, and then more problems followed with Stephen Smith's wicket, as he was a victim of the bowling of Hardik Pandya. That once again the Aussies, who had recovered from the Stephen Smith and Travis Head slowly getting the scoring along, once again were in real trouble when Stephen Smith was gone, and it meant that half the side were in the pavilion. Half the side were in the pavilion at that stage with the score at 138 for 5, and there was still some work to be done. So now they had 2 new batsmen at the crease, and this was the time that India would have felt that they had a chance, because Marcus Stoinis was there at one end. There were 2 new batsmen at the crease, Marcus Stoinis and Matthew Wade, but Kuldip Yadav complicated the matters for the Aussies as he picked up a hat-trick, and he became, since 1991, when the former Indian all-rounder Kapil Dev picked up a hat-trick against Sri Lanka. And in ODIs, there are only 2 people who have picked up hat-tricks for India. One is the former bowler Chetan Sharma, who actually did it in a World Cup against New Zealand, and it was Kapil Dev against Sri Lanka. So Kuldip Yadav became the 3rd Indian bowler to take a hat-trick in one-day internationals. As what a way he did it. In fact, the first wicket that Kuldip Yadav did, let's look at the hat-trick. So from 138 for 5, 10 more runs were added, and at the score of 148, the hat-trick followed for Kuldip Yadav. First, he picked up the wicket of Matthew Wade. Now, this was wonderfully done by Kuldip Yadav. Matthew Wade was totally defeated by a delivery from Kuldip Yadav, and he was clean bowled for 2. That was wicket number 1. The next ball, Kuldip Yadav got a ball to Ashton Agar, which was Yorker length, and Ashton Agar missed it. He was gone LBW for a blob, and Cummins was that was a brilliant delivery from Kuldip Yadav, which was flighted, which had some dip. It made Cummins reach for it, and Cummins just got just an edge of the bat, and Dhoni behind the stumps did the rest, and it was absolutely joyous scenes for Kuldip Yadav, as Kuldip Yadav became the 3rd Indian bowler to take a hat-trick in one-day internationals. After that, it was quick work, but Marcus Stoinis really turned it on. Nathan Coulter-Nile came to the crease, but there was still some work to do, and the Aussies had succumbed to 148 for 8, courtesy the hat-trick from Kuldip Yadav in the 33rd over, and there was still some work to be 104 runs to get, and that was the time Nathan Coulter-Nile walked in, and that is the time Marcus Stoinis, who was sedate till such time, suddenly started wielding the long handle in a big way as he started whipping sixes. In fact, he clubbed Hardik Pandya straight down the ground for a 6, and then beautifully flicked Jasprit Bumrah for a magnificent 6. And suddenly Marcus Stoinis was looking a bit threatening, but then Pandya took the wicket of Nathan Coulter-Nile, got him caught and bowled for 8, and then Kane Richardson came in. And now Marcus Stoinis, it was the onus was on Marcus Stoinis, and he was definitely threatening, no doubt about it. He was doing a wonderful job, and it was suddenly the pendulum started swinging with Marcus Stoinis playing some very bold strokes, and it was good to see that Marcus Stoinis was really having some great fight in him, and he started hitting the ball with good force and with some great timing, and suddenly things were looking a bit again looking, but India were hunting for the elusive wicket, and finally it was Bhuvaneshwar Kumar who got the winning wicket, I would say, as he got Kane Richardson LBW for naught to leave Marcus Stoinis a threatening unbeaten 62 at that of 65 deliveries, 6 fours and 3 sixes and then the Aussies were all out for 202. India winning the match by 50 runs, thus taking a 1-0, 2-0 lead in the 5-match series. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, look at his bowling, take a bow. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, 6.1 overs, 2 maidens, 9 runs and 3 wickets. Wonderful bowling from Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. Jasprit Bumrah, 7 overs, 1 minute, none for 39. Hardik Pandya bowled 10 overs, 2 for 56. Yuzvendra Chahal, 10 overs, 1 minute, 2 for 34, bowled with lots of control today. And Kuldip Yadav, that hat-trick that he had, 10 overs, 1 minute, 3 for 54, the third hat-trick guy for India. And Virat Kohli expectedly was named man of the match, and the match was done. So, but India definitely deserves a lot of credit for doing this to Australia for the second consecutive time in the ODI series, and they did it in a brilliant fashion, I thought. And Kuldip Yadav's hat-trick really helped matters a great deal, because looking at the way Marcus Stoinis was firing, if at all he had got a bit of company, and I think Marcus Stoinis was looking threatening, would have looked more threatening according to me. But nevertheless, Marcus Stoinis, a wonderful knock from Marcus Stoinis in a losing cause, but nevertheless he'll be happy with this effort. And so that's the match situation. So now let's look at the second ODI. As I said, the second ODI was totally washed out. Only 2.2 overs were possible, in which Bairstow and Hales had already taken 21 runs. Bairstow was not out of 9 of 12 deliveries, of 7 deliveries, 1-4, and Hales had carved 2 boundaries in the knock-off, unbeaten 10 of 7 deliveries, 2 fours, and Holder went for 11, and Jerome Taylor went for 10. And well, so the match ended as no result, so it still stands at 1-0 as far as the 5-match ODI series is concerned. Now, having a look at some very quick cricket news. As far as cricket news is concerned, not much to really talk about, dear fan subscribers. I think it's about time for me to wind up on this cricket show by bidding you all a very good night. Thank you.